Hey everyone, Gremlin Gear. Today I wanted to take a sec to talk a little bit about choosing plate carriers and body armor and how to integrate a system with something like a plate carrier. So for those of you who are starting out and deciding for the first time whether to buy body armor, a chest rig, or deciding to put all of your equipment directly onto a plate carrier, which has been the popular thing to do more recent times, can sometimes be a little bit of a daunting decision. I know a few years ago, the hotness and the thing to do was to put like placards over top of body armor. So you'd have some swift clip buckles, and you would buckle a placard into the plate carrier, and then you would have the armor and then all of your loadout kind of separated. And that is something that I've tried. Kind of tried all of these things. Tried putting stuff onto a plate carrier. And today I'm going to share my favorite way of doing this and give you my reasons why it works for me and why I like it. So if it's your first time, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're returning, please like and comment what you think about the video. So let's start out by talking about what we've seen in recent times, which has been the most popular thing to do, I have another video out that kind of shows my plate carrier built out in the way that I would normally build it out, which is I'll link to it, showing push-to-talk placement and that sort of thing for a radio on a setup with like a plate carrier, because sometimes cable management can be a little bit more neat and organized whenever you're putting everything directly onto a plate carrier. But one of the biggest drawbacks with that, which I discussed in the video, is whenever you have a radio that is kind of strapped into something like a vest like this, I will strap it into this center pocket, which is about the same size as an AR-15 magazine. I'd put my radio in here, and I'll usually like bungee cord it into the pouch. Keeps it very firm and in place, but the problem is with that, I can't really take the radio out. I can't really look at it and troubleshoot something when I need to, or pull it out and, make a contact talking through the speaker mic if I were to need to. Besides that, I think there are some other drawbacks with putting a lot of stuff directly onto a plate carrier. Yes, this is a more low-vis plate carrier and a smaller one. I understand there are larger ones out there for different purposes. I want to make this video for citizens. I want to make this for people who want a cost-effective route and also choosing an option that gives them flexibility, gives them many options. So I want to start out by showing what people have been doing in the past, which seems to be kind of like the cool kind of go-to way to start out, which is getting something like this placard. Having 3 mags up front, I'll usually put like tourniquets in these pockets. These ones are the same size as the one on this placard, so I'll, run chem sticks or chem lights and tools or something else I need, flashlight, a multi-tool, maybe even a Glock mag, a 30-round Glock mag in one of these. I'll start building my equipment out from here. I'll have, my radio in this pocket. I'll have my medical equipment in this larger size pocket back here. And for those of you who don't know, this is a TRX Arms AC1, and that's pretty much what this plate carrier was designed around and designed for us to do exactly what I'm describing. Now, why don't I really like this setup too much? I think, as we all know, 3 mags, or even 4 mags, I could stuff one more rifle mag in this pouch right here, which was something that I would do. But I would have 4 mags max. Doesn't give you a whole lot of flexibility. My opinion, these pouches don't give a whole lot of flexibility either. They're pretty much good for holding magazines and not much else. You can't really scale the system very well, and there are some immediate drawbacks with, yes, this is a smaller system. You can fit it into a duffel bag easier. You can deploy it from a duffel bag easier. Once this thing is built out, you can put it on normally quicker. So those are some of the pros to this system. Yes, you have less like ammunition, for example, and maybe even less supplies on you, but it is more of a direct action and a more direct and a quicker way to deploy the plate carrier system like on your person. So yeah, like if that's your goal and that's what you want to plan around, having your stuff tied down to your plate carrier is like the way to go, and I think that is the option for you. You should do that. The rest of this video, not for you. What I've moved over to in the past few months or years of just me training and stuff, I've been looking into just like chest rigs and building out chest rigs. And the reason I do that is because with chest rigs, you get a lot more real estate. So like MOLLE space on the front of those vests. You have a lot more room to hold items, and you can switch things out for mags or in place of other things and equipment. You can just make other things your priority. So for something like a plate carrier and this placard, I pretty much only have the option to run mags up front. With stuff like chest rigs though, I can load really weird and just different combinations of items and accessories. And I think this is kind of the argument that needs to be made on the side of chest rigs for like for like an infantry military type of role. So let's start out with this plate carrier would be something for security, or even like police. Think about a police officer reacting to active shooting, or even if you're just a citizen doing private security or just your own security and you're reacting to a shooter or something, and you need to quickly deploy everything from going completely unarmed to okay, plate carrier, rifle, and then we're going in to address the thing. That's kind of where this comes in. But whenever we're talking about more things in line with like being an infantryman role, I think this is a little bit more in line with the Second Amendment, and maybe people who live in more rural situations or places that are like relatively or mostly peaceful might not need to put all their gear on until it's really time to hold a lot of equipment and go to war. So that's what I've been playing with in the past few months and years, and that's why I have a lot of my chest rigs that I show in my content. So let's get into that. So with our warfighting loadout, we want to prioritize body armor as well. That's why I like to choose a slick plate carrier that just doesn't have a lot going on, it's relatively low profile. I honestly think it's kind of silly that I know recently TRX Arms has gotten rid of the AC1, and my opinion is they didn't really add anything to those other new plate carriers. I feel like they got rid of a lot of the features that made this plate carrier cool. For example, the chest rig backstrap, like Velcro tab. They got rid of this, so you run your backstrap through here, and it kind of just keeps it on your back nicely. Honestly, you don't really need it. I just like it. I think it's a cool feature. And they took away some of like the Velcro and just, I don't know why they did it. I think they're charging more for them too. So just to be clear, you don't have to get something that's like super slick. Like this does a really good job. There's not a lot of material involved. My opinion, you can't really go a whole lot more low vis than this. Like I know there's some plate carriers out there that are just like a few straps that are holding the plates in. You can pretty much see the plates and they're exposed. I don't think you need to go that crazy with it, but I'm also not judging you if that's what you have or if that's what you want to get. This is all just opinion based, and if you want to get that, that's fine. I'm not going to change my plate carrier based off of these new trends and fads that people are doing to get like these super lightweight armor carrying rigs. This does the job that I need it to perfectly, and I think this looks professional in a Ranger green color. And you can't see the plates on it. I can put some identification patches on there. If I want to take them off, I can. And this is what I like. So for our warfighting loadout, like I said, we want to prioritize body armor. So pretty much what I do is very simple. This is not a new idea. This is kind of something that I was brainstorming about, and then I pretty much stole this idea from like TRX Arms, and kind of after this whole like placard like a conversation was taking place, I was thinking, I was playing with placards and kind of buckling in chest rigs to my body armor, and I'm a more smaller framed person, and pretty much what was happening was whenever I would buckle in something like this, when I would buckle this into a plate carrier, it would just sag on my body, and it would just pull this down, and it would kind of offset my plates. I'm trying to demonstrate it like this. I would pretty much be, this is a little bit exaggerated, you can see that I would pretty much be wearing my plate carrier, and it would just be pulling down on these buckles so much. And the H harness, which is supposed to do all the heavy lifting and keep this thing firm and stable on your body, wasn't even doing its job because it wasn't even there. So what I decided to do was, this was kind of in my mind, this was an organic thought. I was like, this plate carrier is very thin and slick, and I was thinking, if I just wore the H harness over it, it's really not getting in the way of anything. This is very thin. Like, sure, there's more straps, and it's a little bit more complex. I have to put on two things rather than just one. But I realized whenever I put on a plate carrier and then I put on this over it, first of all, they integrated seamlessly. It fits super well. And after I sized the H harness to my body, the plate carrier straps don't really get in the way. I didn't have to resize anything afterwards, and it fit on my body just like super well. And the H harness and the chest rig, the way it sits on your body normally, was supporting all the weight and wasn't putting all that stress that was completely unnecessary to put on a plate carrier. And I actually find it easier to just put the chest rig on the plate or over the plate carrier rather than doing the whole, okay, I'm gonna unbuckle everything and what you saw a lot of people doing was, oh my goodness. What you saw a lot of people doing was unbuckling this, clipping it on, and this chest rig has this option. They were taking the Velcro off of, this is like hook Velcro, this is loop, so this hooks onto the soft part of the plate carrier. People were doing a lot of that. I just stopped doing it altogether. Because, you know, whenever you have a chest rig that has this much weight on it and you have everything sized properly, it's fitting flush against your plate carrier, and like you don't need this extra retention, my opinion. I don't think it makes a difference. I think it makes it harder to put this thing on and off, and I think it makes it harder to adjust it on the fly if you need to once you have all this put on. So I don't even use the Velcro. Like, this is a cool feature. I think it's cool. I like that I have the option, but I don't think I need it. That's why I use tap panels, and that's why I use FLCs with the same AC1, and it works fine because you really don't need this. So I found that it put a lot less stress on the plate carrier when I just put the chest rig on like I would normally while wearing the armor. So I put the chest rig over the body armor, and this is really my main recommendation for people, is to start out with a chest rig, get your plates and your body armor later. You know, save up for that if you really want to. Get some nice plates. I just have Hesco L210s in this TRX Arms AC1. I don't even know if they sell the L210s anymore, but they're like the special threat level plates, and they're only going to stop up to like 7.62 by 39, and certain types of 5.56. They'll stop green tip ammo, I believe. And that's just what I felt like I could afford. I understand that I am not like a police officer or something. I'm not going to be, you know, relying on these plates all the time to save my life. I might need them. The reason I thought that was a good plate to choose was because most people shoot 5.56 or 8Ks. If I'm getting sniped with a 308, I guess it's game over. But might get some better plates in the future. But right now, that's just what I wanted to get. And this has been years ago whenever I got those plates. But just so you know, I only have Hesco L210s in my plate carrier. So this way, I can focus more what's going on with the chest rig. I can customize this equipment a lot more. Here are some of the pros that I do believe that a chest rig brings over carrying your items directly onto the plate carrier. I think it gives a little bit more space. I think it gives easier access to things like mags. Like, I obviously have double stack mags, and I think that this is kind of the way to go and way to carry mags, especially if you're someone who has a 308 and an AK. You can just do a lot with this, and you can carry all sorts of different types of mags. You don't have to worry about them being, not fitting quite right. These will accept a wide variety of items, and it's pretty much what our military's used for a long time, and especially this whole body armor or chest rig over body armor system. Ever since body armor is pretty much standard in our military, it seems like people have done some type of system like this where you're throwing a chest rig over some large body armor system, which I'm going to show more of in a little bit. But it's a lot easier to carry heavier items. For example, more ammo. Water bottles are heavy, so a canteen is pretty heavy. Whenever I'm not running a canteen in here, let's say I move my water to my backpack, I'm drinking out of a bladder, I have my medical equipment in here, or I have my medical equipment down here. Here I go again, trying to talk faster than I can think. I'll have my medical equipment down here. or there. And I believe that it allows me to get to that stuff easier than if it were strapped in that back pocket where I have to reach. It's out of the way whenever it's strapped into my plate carrier on my far back right side, but it's very hard to reach. And I think that it's a better option to have this stuff out more, and I can access it easier. Same thing with GP items. You really don't even have option for a GP pouch on a plate carrier. Whenever you do, you're pushing it way out to the side. This still keeps it up front quite a bit. And even if it is on their side a little bit, because I'm a more smaller framed person, it does like to hang out here on my side some. I can still access it easier because it's pushed out a little bit more. So yeah, you're pushing out equipment just a little bit more, but in my opinion, you get more real estate, more options, and a lot easier access to all this stuff. And it's very comfortable. This, I think, is the most comfortable chest rig to wear with the body armor, but if you size everything right, you're not going to have a problem with it. Like, everything's going to fit well as long as you do the job of sizing everything properly. So let me show one more chest rig that I've shown a lot. Tap panel will also do the exact same thing. I can throw this over top the body armor, and it looks a little bit stranger because the tap panel rides higher. Gives you a lot more room in the center pocket than other chest rigs or other rigs allow. But yeah, this was actually one of the deal breakers for me with this whole buckle system. I was like, I want to buckle my tap panel into this chest rig. Or sorry, I wanted to buckle the tap panel into this plate carrier. It never worked very well. It felt way tighter, way stronger of a fit with an H harness worn over top the body armor. So tap panel actually pretty much taught me that lesson, and I was like, well, if I'm going to use it, I'm going to have to do it that way. But here's where this flexibility comes into. So you just saw I had a quad flap chest rig. That chest rig is really good for holding, a little bit more ammo. It can hold 2 more mags than this comfortably. I don't like to run the mags all the way out on the sides. I will run the 4 pouches. I will run the 4 mag pouches here, and then the 2 for a total of 6. I can push 8 with a quad flap easily. There's 4 times 2. Great. This can hold different items though. And here's what I want to show. This is flexibility. I can easily keep the same plate carrier on, keep the same plates in, body armor, all the expensive stuff on. I can keep all that on, remove or decide to run a different chest rig that is capable or prioritizes different things. You see, I keep my equipment pretty much the same all the way across. 2 canteen pouches, a pouch for my optics like night vision or something else in the side, all the way over here under my armpit where it's secure. Gloves, same position. But then I have this big GP pouch where I can run more optics or just whatever the mission is requiring of me, I can hold in this pouch. And this is, my opinion, flexibility. It gives me the option to train and try out a new chest rig without really having to restructure everything, and I can do so very quickly. So I hope this explains a little bit better why I always decide to run my chest rigs over my body armor. Deciding to mount everything to a chest rig is a slow and time-consuming process. But I feel like that if I'm ever going to need to do that, I'll have a little bit more of a heads up in order to need to put all my equipment on there. And I would say, you can always just buy 2 plate carriers. I mean, these are only about $160. They're probably a little bit more than that now, but I think whenever I bought mine, it was about 160 or less. And you could, however, unless you have 2 of the same radios, multiple medical kits, multiple sets of tourniquets, which you may, and that's great. And you probably have a bunch of mags. You could easily load this out with mags. You could have 2 plate carriers set aside for the same, or sorry, not for the same thing, but one set out where everything's attached almost permanently to it, and then one slick vest just to run with chest rigs. I think that's also a good option if you can run both and you have the money to do both of those. I think that's a good way to have the best of both worlds here. I just think for me right now, this makes a little bit more sense, and I think for people starting out, chest rigs are cheaper. If you start out with a chest rig and you get that whole thing loaded out, you get all your mags, your canteens, your water, your signaling items, you get your radio, and all the nuances figured out in a chest rig first, and then you get the expensive body armor in the chest, or the expensive body armor in the plate carrier, and then you just put one over the other. It's like, boom, you're good to go. I think it's really weird whenever people start out with plates and a plate carrier and they can't afford good plates, or maybe they're running like steel plates because they just wanted to have something to fit. Because you can't really run a plate carrier without plates. It doesn't really work. It's not going to be comfortable. It's going to look weird, and it's not even as functional as something like this, nor is it as capable as a chest rig. So that's why we use both. Yeah, that's really what I wanted to show. Last thing I have for you guys, kind of a weird item I have in the old armory. This is a vest by Safe Life Defense, and this has hard plates that can stop all the way up to 308, and it has like soft armor kind of surrounding it on the side, so it actually gives you side protection because of how much this runs over. Whenever you're wearing it, it kind of, bends to your body and covers your sides. So this is a very big vest. This is not as ergonomic as a plate carrier. It's not as light. It's not as comfortable. But kind of a long story how I acquired this. But instead of attaching a bunch of equipment onto this, which you could do, this is a very strange vest because if you can tell, there's an odd number of MOLLE. So most plate carriers have 6 rows, which would be like this. Well, it has one more. So it's really kind of weird to attach stuff to. And these shoulder straps are a little bit more thick, et cetera, et cetera. But it would take me to resize my chest rig a little bit. But if I ever wanted to wear this, because this is not a covert piece of armor at all whatsoever. This is very overt outside, obvious that I'm going to be wearing this. But I could put a chest rig over top of this. And if you look up pictures of like stuff going on in like the 90s and Gulf War and stuff in the Middle East, they weren't black. They were usually like UCP vests, but you see guys that would run very big vests like this. And if any of you guys are experienced in that and are from that time period and served, please comment. Like, I'm really curious to hear about what people have done in the past and if I'm correct about this. But this is just from my own research and knowledge, looking at pictures and trying to figure this out on my own. So please help me learn. Put some stuff in the comments about this and what you like, and if you think this stuff makes sense. Yeah, just comment for the algorithm. Thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. God bless.